Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. This is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. The reason I probably look like I got on a Darth Vader cape is, well, it's cold as hell down here in Austin. It's probably like 57 degrees right now. It's been like low 50s all day. You know what I'm saying? It's October. It's about that time, so I can bring out my FUBU coat. So I'm extra excited. But before we get into the good old cold weather, got a good old football game that we're coming up on with the Texans. So the Texans are going to be starting a stretch of road games in which their next 4 of their next 5 games are actually going to be on the road. So the first stop they're going to have on this pseudo road trip is against the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to get into what they need to do to win that game a little bit later on. And we also want to talk about this little topic comparing Deshaun Watson and Pat Mahomes that I kind of saw popping around today. First off, what I want to do is recap week 5 and just go a little bit over that. So obviously, one of the first things that I want to jump on and just kind of really tip my hat off to is the O line. Clean as game from them, clean pass protection. No sacks. I think there was just like one quarterback hit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, one hit somewhere along there, but no sacks. First time that's happened like all season. Last episode I was talking about the games which Watson was hit at least 4 times, like in each of these games this season. So glad to see that the O line was able to protect him. Watson, he was able to take care of the ball a little bit. Even even that little play. That little fumble recovery first down play that he did, that could have been a little questionable, but all in all, it worked. So it's not. What I'm saying, great job by him. Speaking of Watson, record-setting performance by him as well. First player in NFL history to throw for 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and have 5 or fewer completions within that stat line. So big ups to him. Great job by him doing that. Great job by the coaches for calling those plays up, and also great job again by the O line for dialing up that protecting them. One thing I did leave out that I just remembered as I'm talking about Watson's performance. I mean, Will Fuller, man, like I gotta give it up to him. Like, bro, really like showed out in this game. He had like what 14 catches for 279 yards, 3 touchdowns. Amazing performance. It's the performance that we've been kind of wanting to see. Ain't no kind of. It's the performance that we've been expecting to see from him. Now, all right, maybe I put a little bit too much on it, saying that type of performance, but he's definitely capable. We've been wanting to see Will Fuller kind of wake up, this entire season. He's been relatively quiet, and so I think this is a big way for him to like just kind of burst out on the scene, have a breakout game this year. Hopefully, he takes it into this road trip as well as down the rest of the season. So we're definitely going to need some help from him. Last thing I want to talk about from week 5 is the secondary. On paper, Matt Ryan threw for like 300 yards or whatever. But across the board, I mean, none of the receivers touched 100. I mean, the closest was like Mohamed Sanu, and he's really not, that type of a deep threat as composed to like a Julio Jones or Calvin Ridley is. Excuse me, but even then, they kept him under 100 yards. They held Ridley and they held Ridley and Jones under 50 yards. Both of those guys had it was Ridley with 88, Sanu with 42, and Sanu and Jones actually had 42 apiece. So great job on with the secondary on just kind of keeping that under control, and not having too many big plays break out with those guys as they're capable of doing with that type of offense. So with that being said, I'm gonna kind of slide into a little bit of the game this weekend with a little bit of a quarterback preview. And so I was, like I said, I wasn't even prepared to come in and talk about this particular topic. But it's something that I kind of had in the back of my head, and I think a lot of us have kind of had in the back of our heads for a while. Whether you're a Texans fan, Chiefs fan, or football fan, you know, you kind of want to think about Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. So both of these guys, first round quarterbacks, and if I'm not mistaken, Patrick Mahomes was drafted right before Watson. Pull that up. So yeah, wow, that's yeah, 10th overall, and Watson is, I believe he was the 16th overall. So anyway, um, so yeah, both of these guys, first round picks, and 12th. Okay. So yeah, just two picks behind Mahomes. Obviously not bad pick for the Texans. So, but yo, all seriousness, anyway, all foolishness aside, yeah, Deshaun Watson, Pat Mahomes, you know, like I said, as a football fan, you probably thought about like just the comparisons of them because as a sports fan, you're gonna do that. All the greats get compared. Um, you know, whether it's like for a while they were comparing Kobe and T Mac. Just random comparisons or whatever. But point I'm trying to make is this: both of these guys, they've had some very interesting starts to their career. So with Watson, he wasn't exactly chosen to be the regular starter. They just kind of threw him in there in their first game. If any Texans fans can unfortunately remember that game when Tom Savage started the season and the Jacksonville Jaguars were just knocking them around. That was the beginning of Jacksonville being called Saxonville. So in that second half, Watson came in. He kind of did his thing a little bit, and after that, he started that second game and he got us to win against the Cincinnati Bengals. Then he went on from there, and he was doing this thing there. Played against the Chiefs actually that season, but that particular year, which was also Pat Mahomes' rookie year. Obviously, Mahomes was sitting on the bench, just kind of learning things, just kind of soaking the game up, and from behind Alex Smith, and so. While he was, kind of learning, Watson had to like get in there and get in the fire. Now, granted, could this is something I just thought of as well. Could that be could would it be a difference in Watson's play or development if he had sat behind, Tom Savage? Tom Savage wasn't Tom Savage in that particular day. Cause if he had sat behind Savage and kind of learned some things, soaked some things up, how would that impact his development as compared to like, Pat Mahomes, who did sit down, for almost a year. And then, he came in, his second, season or whatever. And, he just kind of took the league by storm, just throwing the football all over the field and all this good stuff and just leading the Chiefs all the way up until like the AFC Championship. So, this is something that, you kind of think about, but, then again, and we will get into it, there's other components surrounding that kind of would kind of dispel that notion as well. So it's just something that just kind of popped into my head right now. But anyway, so yeah, let me just go ahead and like really get into this comparison. So obviously, Watson and Mahomes, they're like two of the premier dual threat quarterbacks. So you kind of see it nowadays. Russell Wilson, Andrew Luck. I don't know if I would consider him a true dual threat, but he definitely showed some capabilities of like running as well as, but he was a much better passer at that. So you do have Lamar Jackson who's trying to become a better passer as well. Guy like Dak Prescott who's also in trying to become a better passer, but these two guys, Watson and Mahomes, they are like it. When you talk about dual threats, like these are the guys that you want to look to. Obviously, as a Texans fan, watching Watson for these last few seasons, we see it. We see his ability to run the ball on option plays and, just try to escape pockets whenever they breaking down, especially without O line. They had a great game Sunday, but let's keep it real. It hasn't been all peaches this last season and a half. But still, with that being said, you can see Watson like, just really get in there and have a knack for the run. Same thing with Mahomes. He probably doesn't run as much as Watson, but he can definitely move around in the pocket and move around outside the pocket. You've seen some of his like wildest throws just coming from outside of the pocket. I think the other week he had one where he just threw the ball like right across the field, across his body or whatever. So both of these guys, very, very tight definition of dual threat quarterback. They've changed the lives of their franchise completely. So with Watts, well, I'm not even going to jump into Watson right now because we know what's up. But with Mahomes, for years, for quite a while, they had the Chiefs had Alex Smith, you know, as their quarterback, after, Kaepernick kind of, took over his job in San Francisco at the time. And so, they weren't doing bad with Smith. He was just his reputation was more, a game manager type of quarterback. So um, he would he was kind of just playing not to lose the game. But you know what I'm saying? One of the biggest things with him was he had, a ton of weapons. They put like quite a few weapons around him. They brought in a Tyreek Hill, a Kareem Hunt. He came in there as well. Travis Kelsey, he was in there. So they had some good pieces around Alex Smith, but it just wasn't coming into fruition. So in comes Pat Mahomes, and he's throwing the ball all across the field. He's getting it to Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, Travis Kelsey, all these guys, Kareem Hunt, and he's just really running the score up on these teams. So he definitely put the Kansas City Chiefs in the driver's seat. With Deshaun Watson, we already know how much he has changed this franchise. He's been like the quarterback that we've been looking for like maybe all this time. Of course, we started out with Derek Carr, and that ain't work. Then we went to Matt Schaub, and somehow that just completely crashed and blew up in our face. And so now, after Schaub, we were just putting in the carousel of QBs, and here comes Watson. Ready to kind of just, what I'm saying, just take us to that next level, give us that set leadership, if you will, that only a quarterback can provide. Give us that direction that, a quarterback, team captain, team leader, whatever you want to refer to him as, can provide. So definitely, he's changed the Texans. He's changed the franchise's life on that particular front. So, some of the differences, man, I would just say this. And on here, I jotted down, like, Mahomes has the better O line, but I'm gonna just keep it funky with you. Like, Mahomes has the better everything. Like, he's always had the better, like, everything. Like, um, I would probably say wide receiver is debatable. Um, he has Tyreek Hill, and, Tyreek Hill is a beast. You know what I'm saying? So, Tyreek Hill can catch short routes, deep routes, crossing patterns, all types of stuff. He can do jet sweeps. He can do reverses. He's a monster. You know what I'm saying? Like he has, and rightfully so. He has the speed to do all of that. So I would definitely say when it comes to wide receiver, um, they got Tyreek Hill, but we have DeAndre Hopkins. Compared to Tyreek Hill, Hopkins is probably more of a traditional wide receiver, but at that position as well, we also have a Will Fuller. We also have a Kenny Stills. We also have a Kiki QT. So we got speed guys that are there, and it's just a matter of getting them the ball and seeing what they could do with it. Um, but yeah, as far as like the Chiefs and Mahomes, like yeah, they had Tyreek Hill. They have a tight end and Travis Kelsey who can be just as big a factor as a number one wide receiver or anything like that. So they have weapons in place. Um, Also, he's had the better O line. I think that would have to be an obvious thing too. Like he's really been protected like supremely well. If I look at these numbers right now between Pat Mahomes and between Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, I mean, I'm talking about like when I talk about the O lines, I'm like, yo, let me see, yeah, so let me see, 22, 27. So Watson's played like five more games than Mahomes, but Mahomes has only been sacked 35 times compared to Watson's 99 times. So when I say better O line, I mean better O line. But I also think that has the fact to do that, when it comes to making throws like down the field, like those crazy throws that Mahomes do, I think that also protects him as well because it's like he's put in a situation where, a quarterback is taught, don't make that type of throw. Don't throw across your body, don't throw all the way to the other side of the field. And here he goes, running to one end of the field, throwing it, the other way, and then not even that, just making like behind the back passes and all this other stuff. So is he has some and one quarterback mixtape skills going on with that. So um, I would definitely say with that, that's probably saved him from getting sacked and everything, and that's probably had defenses like kind of back pressure off of him a little bit because they figure like, okay, this guy's going to get this ball off, so we need to put our defenders back there, and you know what I'm saying, we need to just kind of force him to take his time, if you will, as far as like thinking where he wants to go with the ball. Um, and yeah, but yeah, like I said, Mahomes has the better O line. He kind of had the better team. I would say when it comes to the better team, it's really debatable at wide receiver. I do think the Texans group of wide receivers are a little bit better than the Chiefs. The Chiefs, I think for a majority of those guys, they're just like within that system existing or whatever. But it is what it is. But also defensively. So yeah, last year's Chiefs defense, it was not good. This year, I'm not sure how great it is. I know they have Frank Clark over there. They got a couple of other studs over there on defense. So I don't know. It could turn into something better, but I don't think it's doing too well starting up at the beginning of the season. So yeah, Texans do have an edge on defense, obviously with J.J. Watt, and they had Jadeveon Clowney, but with him gone, we still got a Whitney Merciless, and so Texans defense, they're still able to like kind of stop the run from time to time, and the secondary can get on you when they want to. So definitely, Texans have the better defense. The only troubles that we're really just dealing with, definitely O line. And I wouldn't say our running game is in trouble. It's just not as explosive as the Chiefs might be. But even then, right now, the Chiefs don't even have like a real explosive running game as well. Last thing I want to get into with this is Watson kind of runs the ball just a little bit more than Pat Mahomes. They really put him in a lot more situations to run the ball, and so that can be a detriment to him as well. Sometimes he likes to, as we said before, he likes to hold on to the ball a little bit, try and make a play. So yeah, he'll probably lean on running the ball a little bit more. If he doesn't see anything down the field, he might, take a little 5 yard thing, or he might try and charge through and get the whole 10 yards for the first down. So that's just part of his game. That's what he does. They put him in design runs before. He was in a designed run in the opening game of in the season premiere, or whatever you want to call it, season opener against the Saints. And actually on that play, he actually got hurt because I think he jumped in, he flipped and hit his back. So that's one thing that we haven't seen too much from Mahomes is like any sign of like injury until last week. Actually, looked like he was having an ankle issue. So we'll definitely talk about that in a few. But all in all, the comparisons between Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, this is probably one of the best sports comparisons that I've seen. Um, to be honest with you, both of these guys, they're great. They'll probably be battling it out for like years and years to come. Obviously Mahomes, he has the arm and the tricks and everything, and Watson just has that attitude of like, what I'm saying, we're going to win this game. And so with that, he kind of takes that and he kind of puts the team on his back a little bit. So he'll try to make plays, he'll try to extend plays, throw the ball down the field, all that good stuff. So with that being said, let's talk about this Sunday's game. So three things that the Texans need to do. And look, Kansas City Chiefs, they're a tough team. They're tough on the road. They're tough at home. They're the Kansas City Chiefs, man. They just got their first loss last week. So, they coming out, they hot. You know what I'm saying? They don't want people feeling like they can just come out here into their stadium and just kind of body them up. So nah, they got some stuff they kind of they kind of want to get off in this game. So first thing Texans need to do, win the battle in the trenches. And that is, winning on the O line, winning on the D line. I was looking at the Chiefs injury report just now, and a couple of the Chiefs O linemen, they might be injured. I think it was Everett Winston that was actually hurt, or actually going to be out for this game. So um, he won't. You don't have to worry about him too much. Um, who else? Oh, Chris Jones. Yes. So, uh, yeah. So defensive tackle Chris Jones is actually going to be out as well. Eric Fisher. I don't know where I got Eric Winston from. Yes, Eric Fisher is going to be out. Chris Jones, he's going to be out for sure, for sure. So um, I don't know what to say. Well, I know what to tell you. Run the ball. On Sunday's game against the Colts, they were having guys just dropping like everywhere. So if Chris Jones ain't gonna be in there, I would definitely take advantage of running the ball on this Chiefs team. They cannot stop that run against the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday. So I doubt they'll have a chance to like just really. They probably worked on it a little bit, but I mean, without Chris Jones, man, I would still just take my chances as much as I can. So definitely get that going. Also, continue to have a clean pocket. So if you can't get the run going, make sure the clean pocket is going. So Watts can kind of throw the ball and get that distributed to all the different receivers. So definitely get had that going. Win the battle on the trenches with the linemen. So we'll definitely have some protection going to make some plays. Second thing Texas need to do is repeat the performance of the secondary. So I mentioned in the recap that they had three that Matt Matt Ryan had 300 yards throwing. And so, 300 yards throwing is not a good thing. But when you've held down certain receivers like, a Julio Jones, a Muhammad Sanu, a Calvin Ridley, when you held them down under 100 yards, then, definitely that's a good performance. I mean, you held them down under 100 yards, and, Matt Ryan got his 300 from, distributing the ball to other receivers who, probably didn't do that much better at all. So what I would say is just continue to, excuse me, what I would say is just kind of repeat the performance the secondary from week 5. So most likely what you probably want to do, might do man coverage with these receivers and kind of just stick to them. Make sure they don't, catch it. Make sure that if Mahomes does throw it, it's like a tight space where he's going to have to fit it in there. You don't want to have him get any type of easy passes. Always got to challenge him. Also, watch out for Mahomes to extend plays. So he loves to keep going. You just got to keep going to the whistle blows. As I said, if this guy's pocket breaks down, he'll get out. He'll go to one side of the field. He sees an open receiver on the other side of the field. He is chunking that mug. Like, come on, man. You just got to get after him until the whistle keeps blowing, man. And just make sure he's down. Like, he's sackable. Like, you have to get past that Holmes mystique, but he's definitely sackable. I've seen it happen before. Shit, I've seen it happen quite a few times on Sunday for him. So that's what's up. Third and final thing, give your best shot. Texans got to get their best shot in getting after Mahomes. So it might be he might be dealing with that ankle issue. So kind of just really just kind of bull rush him a little bit. See if you could just make him kind of like scramble. And if he doesn't scramble or whatnot, if he tries to like throw it. Uh, in the crowd or whatever, then yeah, that's a win if we get that turnover. So just give your best shot in getting after him. Just also challenge the receivers so he can make errant throws as well. So just kind of cover those guys a little bit tougher. Like just kind of press them like all game, even if you got to press them or fake press them, like hand check them at the line, then like backpedal with them, like it's all good. But definitely what you need to do is challenge those receivers so you can make the errant throws. So those are my 3 things, man. Win the battle in the trenches, repeat the performance of the secondary from week 5, and give your best shot in getting after Mahomes. That's all the time I got for this week. I done talked y'all to death. Hope y'all staying warm out there for all my people in Texas going through these 60-degree blizzard storms, man. So yeah, that's all I got today. I'm Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.